Everyone, Jen here today for Country Craft Creations, and today I want to show you how to use up all of your scraps. I will be using all my scraps left over from the Simple Stories Simple Vintage Berry Fields paper collection that I got from Country Craft Creations. I made this album, so many of you that have seen my sneak peek as well as my video, I did explain that I would be making some things with the scraps. And I will also tell you that I am going to do this very similar to as if I were live. And I am just going to make as I go. I've done a couple prototypes of things using my scraps. And I'm going to show you how to use your scraps to do the same. So if you did not see that sneak peek where I said gather up your scraps, I would suggest pausing your video right now and grabbing the scraps left over from a recent project from say a mini album or a folio or something that you've done, or if you happen to have this paper, you can play along with it as well if you've made something with it, but any paper will work to make these projects. I also am going to be using some solid cardstock as well as score tape, glue, scissors, scoreboard, and a ruler. So, all right, I'm going to get started. So if you're just coming back from pausing the video, I'm going to get started. Otherwise, I'm going to show you. So one of the first things that I am going to make is this fun little bag. Now, this is not my design. This is for holding gift cards. Is this not the cutest little thing you've ever seen? I just adore this. And you could actually tie this to someone's package and put a gift card on it and do it in Christmas paper. Super simple, super cute. And I'm going to show you how to make that. I have another style gift card holder. Again, not my design on most of these. The scrap cards I just kind of threw together, but I'm sure somebody's done them like that before. And this little gift bag, I've seen several different versions of it as well as this. This is just a sliding belly band gift card holder. I don't have the paper on here because I'm going to show you how to make this. And in the middle, you can see this pops up and you can slide. Let me grab, I'm just going to use a piece of paper as an example for now. I don't have a gift card handy, but your gift card would slide right in this little spot here. Well, it would if I actually had a gift card. So this slides right inside. And I'm not going to be doing any editing on this video either. Like I said, I'm going to do it very much like a live, which means if I have an oops, you're going to see my oops. Obviously, the only difference with this and lives is that I can't really interact with you. But this way it's on YouTube for you forever, and you can go back and look at it. And if you need to smash through some of your scraps, this is a great way to do it. So this is where your gift card would go. And then as you can see, I'm going to take the paper that I have laid out for this off. Then you just fold this closed, slide a belly band over it, and then when they pop it open, surprise, gift card, super fun. All right, so that would be that one, and I will be making that with you. This is our little gift bag, and then this is another type of gift card holder. So this one is just a fun fold card. It flips open, and your gift card would go on the inside here. Another super simple way to use up your scraps. And I've also used, I will tell you, some stamps, some sentiment stamps from my stash. I have so many, and some dies as well. Mostly nesting dies, and then I've also used one Graphic 45, the folder die, to cut this, so this was a little bit fancier. So we will start there. Oh, actually, let me show you one more here. I have two different styles of scrap cards, so I will be making this one with you with a different colored butterfly. This is from this collection as well, and super simple, and obviously I probably will add something to the inside as well. This does take a little bit of foam adhesive, and I just had a sheet that I cut into a square that will fit on the back of our yellow one. And then this one is the same scrap type card. However, this one will have a flip up way of opening. So we're going to start with this. Super simple. What I did is I cut some of the burgundy Cartabella paper from my scraps that I had left over. And these cards themselves, this is an ivory heavy cardstock from my stash. These are only 3 3/4 by 5.5, or excuse me, 5 3/4. So 3 3/4 card by 5 3/4 cards. Super fun for little note cards, gift giving. You could even, if you made this album that I made, you can make one of these cards and give it with, if you're giving the album as a gift, makes for a great card to give with it. So my burgundy paper that I have here is 3.5 by 5.5. Okay. And I'm just going to glue that down on the front of the card. This is going to be my mat. And again, this is the Burgundy Cardabella. You can use any cardstock. These are the newer solid Cardabella papers that Tamara has in the store. And I did check, it is still available. I'm also using the denim blue. I also have some denim artisan that I will be using for one of the cards I do believe I had laid out, and for one of these. And you can use that as well. It goes really well if you're using this paper. These are just colors that go really well with this Simple Stories paper. So then here's where you'd want to decide. Now on this one, I inked my edges with Vintage Photo. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on this one. I did not ink the edges of the burgundy paper, just my strips. Now the strips are cut at 1 inch by 5 1/4. Okay. And these were, like I said, just my scraps. And I just picked some and cut them into 1 inch by 5 1/4 inch strips. And then, like I said, I'm just going to ink around all my edges. I'm just going to do all of these really quick. Bear with me. And you can use the fronts, the backs. If you want skinnier strips, another option is to use the signature tops of the pages. I use that a lot in my with my crafts. I will use the very top portion. In fact, on my bag here, the prototype, this is the actual 1/2 inch signature across the top of the yellow solid paper that I used for my top portion. And I will show you that bag next after we do these cards. That little gift bag is so fun to make. And it's just a few simple score lines. It's really not difficult at all. So now what I want to do is just grab my papers, my strips, and I'm going to put them down first, dry fit them, so that I know how much space they need between them. My first one was a little wonky. And I mean, it's handcrafted item, so unless you're a perfectionist, it doesn't have to be right exact. So I think right about there, so about 1/8 of an inch in. You can measure too if you prefer to have them in a perfect line. You can measure it out. For the sake of camera, I'm just going to dry fit eyeball these and put them on. And then I'm going to slide that down just a bit. I mean, I want them to line up, but they don't have to be perfect by any means. And then we're going to do our blue one. You see, this is one of those pieces that could have gone on the front or the back because it's double-sided paper. You can use either. So I'm going to put that one right about there. And I want to make sure that I'm going to have about the same. We're going to slide that one over just a little bit. There we go. I'll burnish that down. Looks like I might have got that one just a teensy bit shorter. Like I said, these are not meant to be perfect. It is scraps after all. You can cut them perfectly. I just did not do that. So we want these pretty close to the same width on all of them. And as you can see, mine were a little wonky, but like I said, you can cut yours perfectly if you like. And then I had some nesting dies that were postage stamp shaped, which is what I cut this from. And I am going to go ahead and give this a quick, I'm not going to go down into the little loopies, but I'm just going to go over it a little with the Vintage Photo. I've already done that on the butterfly. This is one of the 2x2 cut aparts that I had left over. And I am just going to go ahead and glue this to my little postage stamp nesting die. If you don't have that, you can cut a square. You can use anything, any kind of die that you want, or like I said, you can just cut a square that is 1/4 inch bigger on all sides than your 2x2. So 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. And then I have this foam, square. This came from a foam sheet. And you can get these, I do believe, I'll put a link below. I think Tamara still has these in the shop. So I will put a link if that is the case. So I just have my foam, and I'm going to peel off the other side. And then I want to put this right, I want to kind of line it up so that you can see the tops of those. But we're also going to have a sentiment on the bottom, and that looks about right to me. So now I've got this little strip of the same paper used to make the card itself. This is 1 inch, and it's 3.5 inches, so it goes all the way across like this one does. And then I have lots of different, this one says "You're So Special." I'm going to try that one because I used the other one. I had a stamp pad out. There it is. Okay. Just going to grab some black ink here. And this stamp, for some reason, this is why I don't normally use wooden stamps anymore. The top around the wording wants to stamp too, and I don't want that. I just want the words. I don't want to see that loopy-loo on the top. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp this on, trying to get it right in the middle if I can. And I got a few loop-de-loos, but that's okay. Like I said, it's kind of a messy stamp. But it is what it is. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to glue this. And you could actually turn this, this card itself into a gift card holder as well. I'm going to put this up to this. Look at that. I almost eyeballed that perfectly. And then we're just going to set this one down. Make sure it's nice and straight. And there's another one. See how quick and easy that is? And it's actually a really fun card. I mean, it's pretty. It looks like it took a lot of time, and it didn't. So what I was saying is you could totally make this into a gift card. Grab another one of your scraps. If you've cut several of these strips, or you can use one of the signature strips. Those might be a little thin. I might suggest using something a wee bit longer. Like, okay, so here we go. I've got a piece of this here. So I've got a strip left over that's 1 1/4 inches. We have a 5 3/4 inch card. So I'm going to cut this to 5 3/4. And I'm going to leave that 1 1/4 because I want to be able to slide something in here. So now I have that. And then you can choose to notch it or not notch it. Either way. I'm going to go ahead and ink this that matches the front of the card. Again, this was 1 1/4 inch strip that I just happened to have in my scrap pile over here. I will tell you, I don't have a lot of scraps left of this paper after making the album. But what I do have, I wanted to show you how to use. So just take this and glue it on 3 sides. And like I said, if you want to notch it, you can with a circle punch or something. And then I'm just going to line this up right to the edge of my card. Clean off any extra glue that's there. Give it a good burnish. And then, voila, you have a little tuck spot that you could put a gift card or money or something else in. You could also stamp another sentiment on the inside if you have some of those stamps that have like a sentiment, like a full-on poem or saying. You could put that on the inside as well. So that is the first card. Super fun. This one is done very similar, but this is going to be a flip-up style. And I have some, this is another way to use up some of the ephemera. If you bought the bits and pieces of ephemera that come in the pack, I not only use the ephemera itself, I actually use some of the packaging from it as well. I punched some circles out of it to make my paper clips in my album, and some more. See, there's some here, right here, laying on my table, from the ephemera box or package. This is like the thicker packaging that's inside, and this works really, really well for backing things. And I had a few buttons. These buttons here, that's what these pieces are for, is for the buttons that I made for the other one. So for this one, these are going to be, you're going to have a piece of the paper. Again, we have 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. So this is 3 1/2 by 5 1/2, our blue paper. And this will open up this way. So we are just, and see, and this is another thing I love about this paper. So flip it over. You don't have to waste that because this side doesn't have it. And I like that. I like it a lot. Get all my scraps used this way. And this paper I actually had in my stash from another collection, from another design team package. And I had some left over. And like I said, it goes so well with this paper that it worked out. So I'm going to try to put that on there as straight as I can. And I will tell you my little ephemera bits that I had left over. When you get them in your package, and some people like the really wide, let's try to find one in this, see, like this, the really wide white border around it. I don't like that aesthetic as much when I'm putting it on something that to me it's too much white for this project. So you can see the difference here. I just kind of fussy cut around. I like a little bit of white border showing, but to me, for my own personal preference, I like it a little thinner. So that is an option. You can cut it off or not cut it off. Okay, so now these strips, again, my scraps, these are 1 inch by 3 1/4 inches. Okay, now for these ones, I started with red. I want to line them up on here a little bit before dry fit them because there is so many. I don't want it to get all crooked and crazy. And then I have a yellow. And I am not going to ink these ones. This one is going to just be more clean and simple. And then we have a yellow. And then we have a red. See, I can tell already I need to go over. They need to be a little bit closer. So I'm going to start with this one. And I'm going to go over a little further, a little closer to that edge. Try to have the same on the top and the bottom. There we go. A little bit more. And if you're using glue, like I am, our glitter glue is great because it gives you a little bit of open time. You don't have to worry about if you need to move something, you can still move it. And that is a plus in my book. So I'm hoping everybody's crafting along and shares what you come up with on the Scrapbookers page. If you made the same things or use different paper or whatever, definitely share. We love to see all of your projects. All right. Oops, that one got a little bit squirrely on me. And they will. I mean, unless you have like the perfect, and like I said, you can measure these if you want, but I kind of like the messy look. But if you want them perfectly clean, I would suggest measuring it with a ruler and maybe putting some lines on the paper to guide you where to set these. Mine will definitely not be perfect. And there are 5 of these in the size for this page, or for this cover. Oh, and I got that one pretty darn close. I'm okay with it. It's a little bit more blue showing on this side, but that's all right. I can live with that. All right. So now we have that. Now this was a scalloped circle die set that I have in my stash that I'm going to use. And then again, we have another one of these strips that we're going to type. We're going to put a sentiment on. So this is 3 1.5, and again 1 inch, and that will go off to the side down here. And then I have the blue that I punched out, and this is a scalloped circle that's about 2 3/4. And then this is a scalloped circle from the ivory that is 2 1/4. And that will go on here. We can type, or excuse me, put the sentiment in here and put another strip of paper on here. Or we can do the sentiment on this and just put our ephemera, which I had planned to put this little butterfly and this little heart on our piece like that. And you can do the same thing with a strip of paper inside like we did with the other one across the bottom to make a tuck spot for money or a gift card or tickets to a movie or something if that's what you're giving as a gift. Super, super simple. I will probably figure this one out a little later. I'm trying to see what I have here for ephemera. I might switch this, remove this. I do have this piece of ephemera left over that I kind of love. And I could just put this stuff on and then put my, yeah, that's cute too. You can also add bows with ribbon, different things, but I'll show this when I finish it. I'll show all of them that are done that we do. But that's how you make that one. So next, I'm going to show you how to make this adorable little bag. Oh my goodness, so cute. So, so cute. And I'm looking somewhere here. All right, here we go. I have a brown one cut off to the side. So I had a piece of this blue paper left over. I could use either side, but I'm going to use this side. And then this is one of those signature strips across the top of the paper. So when you get Simple Stories paper, and some other companies do this, this is what I mean when I say signature. So this piece right here is usually right around 7.5, not quite, maybe 7 1/4, which on this one I used it and you cannot see that it didn't go all the way to the end because that is the piece that goes inside the bag. Okay. So you can just clip that off. These are also great for the pages, like the one I did in my album that does the piecing the paper together. So this piece of paper here is 4 1/4 by 7.5. And then I'm going to put this little strip that is 1/2 inch by 7.5. I'm going to glue this to the top of the page. I wanted some red. So this is the first thing we're going to do is glue this on before we do any scoring. And you want to line this up as well as you can. See, a little bit's going to hang off because it's more like, it's a little less than 7.5 on your signature pages. And that's okay. Like I said, it won't show. So don't worry about that little bit of blue showing at the end. Okay. So there you have your paper. We're going to grab a scoreboard. And again, I will say this is not my design. This is something that I found along the way that I thought I would share. It's a tutorial that I have seen done a couple different ways, and I just think it's adorable. An adorable way to give away gift cards. It's so cute. So we're going to score this at 2.5, 3, and 3.5. And then we're going to score again at 6, 6.5, and 7. Okay? Then we want to turn this, okay, and we are going to score at 1/2 inch all the way across, okay? Now, the original tutorial that I saw scored this at 1 inch, and to me it was a little bit much paper on the bottom. As you can see, my bottom doesn't go all the way together, but when you put stuff in here, it just worked out better for me with the 1/2 inch. So if you want a little shorter bag, you can do it the original way, which was with 1 inch. So now what you're going to do, you have all these little score lines. Okay, we want to fold all of them for starters. The little one, these two, you're going to fold in because those are like the sides of the bag. And you want that to kind of look like a bag. So you'll have something like this. And you need to be really cautious with this if you're using decorative paper. A lot of the Country Craft Creations paper probably would be amazing for this because there are definitely no cracking issues. I have yet to have any of the CCC papers crack, but some paper, if you aren't cautious about your burnishing, will crack. And for some, that might just be a better vintage look. But so now, as you can see from our side over here that has only the score up to here, we have a fold over, and then we have a fold up and a fold over, and that gives you that. This is going to be the one side of the bag, okay? And then on the other side, we have the same thing. This will be the side of the bag. So before you glue anything down, we want to go in and we're going to snip with some scissors these little tabs. So at the bottom of the two score lines, you want to clip them up. We're going to cut off the end one over here, this last 1/2 inch. You don't need that one at all. But this one, you want to get at both score lines and just clip it up that 1/2 inch. So you have this little flap. And do that on both sides. Hopefully everything is being seen well in the camera. And there you have that one. Now, fold those in so that they're nice and laid down. And then we want to burnish our bottoms as well. These bottom flaps need to be burnished. Burnish our bottoms. That didn't sound good. So the first thing we want to do, you have this open like so. Add a little bit of glue. I'm hoping everything is visual in the camera here. Just where these tabs are going to intersect on those bottom pieces first. Okay. And we want to pull those in. This is going to go here. So you want to pull this in and then add glue to that side flap. Okay. And you could miter the corners. It might actually make it easier. I don't know. I haven't tried it that way. But you want to make sure that this right here lines up perfectly when you do this. As perfect as you can get it. And then stand your bag up and just burnish down those two. Push it. You'll see down in there. You want to push it together and burnish down those little flaps that are in there. You know, it's kind of hard to do on, and look at the, make sure you can see it in the camera at the same time here. I'm pushing it together and I'm burnishing at the same time because I want to not have a hole that's very big at the bottom, but I also want these to go on here evenly. So this is what you end up with, this adorable little bag. And then you can go in and do, once it dries on the bottom, which mine clearly is not dry, add a little bit more glue there. And I'm just going to set it up again, do a little burnishing. I'm doing more like a tapping to try to get that glue to stick. So once you have all that together, how I did my ribbon was I used a small hole punch and poked holes on both sides. And then I ran twine through mine. You can do it that way. You could do it with ribbon. You could do it with paper if you wanted to, as long as you can get something inside of here and also get it out of here once it's in. I'm going to also lay this down and burnish down my 1/2 inch flap down inside there. See, now we have this cute little bag. And then I have one of my 2x2s. I'm going to go ahead and ink that a little bit. You can ink this as well on the edges, especially if the paper cracked a little bit. It might look a little bit more vintage if that's what you're going for. I did not ink the other one, but I'm going to go ahead and do this one just to show you the difference. I love to ink. So now this one has a little bit of inking on it. And then I took one of the red pieces, the solids from this collection, and I cut it 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. And I'm going to add this little 2x2 cut out It's from one of the pages. And I'm going to put that on the red paper. Super cute. Burnish that down. And you could also pop this up if you wanted to just stick out more. You could pop this up. I am going to take my cute little leaves that I have here, do a little inking, and I actually wanted these under in between, so I'm going to slip that in there before that glue dries. Okay, and then this is going to go on the front of our bag, and like I said, you can use the thicker adhesive or the sheets of foam if you want this to stick out more. I'm just going to put it on my bag. Once I have it where I want it, like so, I'm going to flip it over and burnish from the inside, because you obviously don't want to squish your bag down too much. So just burnish it on the inside, and that looks good. Super cute. And then I have this fun little flower also. This is a piece of the ephemera. Little strawberry blossoms. And it goes really well with that little cut apart. So we are going to add this. And I just realized I put that on really, 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 really crooked, didn't I? I did. All right, well, that's okay. Don't make the same mistake unless you want it crooked. I'm going to grab some foam. So I have these little square foams, and I am going to put them on the flowers so that they pop up a bit. And with foam adhesive, I want it to last, and I don't always trust that the sticky is going to stay on, so I will always put a little dab of glue, like so, on mine so that I know that they're going to stick. There, now you can't even tell it's crooked. All right, so now we have our cute little flowers and this fun little leaf sticking out. Very, very cute. And then what we're going to do is make the holder. So I need to grab my twine, which was here. You can use any kind of twine that you have. I just have twine on a roll. I am looking for some twine. Twine. It's here somewhere. Anyways, so let's do the holes. You don't have to pop holes in it. You could staple it if you don't mind the stapler. You could just glue ribbon to it with some good glue. I'm going to do the holes so I can show you. So I have this hole punch that does really small holes, which is what I'm using. And I want holes on both sides. And I kind of want them to line up, so get them in the same area. So there we have our holes. Okay. And my bag wants to fall over for some reason. It's top heavy at the moment. And I need to find that twine still. Oh, I like this. So I have this red and khaki that I kind of like. So just make a knot on one side of your whatever string you're using, and then clip it so that you don't have a super long string on the inside of your bag. And then you just want to see about how much you want and make enough so that you can make another knot. Clip that. And then I am going to put this, and this kind of twine is a little tricky putting it through a hole because it will want to unravel on you. So just beware of that. I got it not to unravel. So now I am just going to run both sides. I got my knotted side on one. And twist this back together. Put this in here. And see, it's going to give me fits because it wants to unwind. So I would highly suggest using one that is one solid. Of course, I had to find this double in my stash now, and I really liked the way it looked, but we are going to X-nay it because it doesn't want to cooperate with me. And I want to get this done for you. So I'm going to just do brown twine like I did on the other one. It's much simpler to get through. And I am going to flip through this way. And you could put the knots on the outside too if you like that look. It can be done either way. So I'm going to grab my string. I put it through both holes. And I'm just going to make a knot. And I'm going to clip that end off. Don't clip it all the way up to the knot because it could pull it right out of there. And then I have way too much here, so I'm going to go all the way down to make my knot because I made this one way, 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 way too long. And make sure your knot is big enough. If it's not, it'll pull right through. And then what I did with this one so that it would lay down is I laid my bag down. Laid my bag down here. And then I put a little bit of glue right where those knots are and just kind of pushed with my finger. And it will help that fabric, if you're using a fabric like nylon string or something, it will help it so it stands up a little bit better. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So I'm going to put it through the hole. This bag is so much fun to make. These are so cute. I'm going to make some of these for Christmas and fill them with lottery tickets for my family members. I just think they're adorable. Okay. Actually, not. Oh, that knot's not big enough. That hole's a little bit bigger. Sometimes you will have to make a double knot, just depending on what size of a hole punch that you use, because you don't want it to come through the bag. And go through the other side. And if you want it to be even fancier, you can add a grommet, which would obviously probably make this a lot easier, but it also would make the bag a lot heavier, so I didn't want to do that. All right, there we go. Pull your other side up when you do this side, just to make sure that you have the same amount of string on both sides before you make your knot. And it can be a little tricky. You just want to make sure, yep, that they're nice and even. Clip that excess off. And then again, I'm going to go in and put a little bit of glue so that these are not so they don't move around as much. Just don't stick anything in the bag until you're sure this glue is completely dried. And there's our fun little bag gift card holder. How cute is that? I love it. Super cute. Okay. So now I'm going to make, I'll show you how to, oh, you know what? I did forget one thing. Shame on me. I will go back to it. I need to turn my handy dandy We Are Memory Keepers glue gun back on, so I can show you how to put the bow on. And I also need to add a wee bit of Distress ink on my button. I just noticed I never did that, so I'll do that. And put this away. And once that glue gun is ready to go, I will show you where I put the bow and how to stuff some tissue paper in there, because our other glue should be dry by then as well. So now we're going to make this fun sideways one. This one is beyond simple, okay? And what we do here is we have, is this the right one? Yes. Yes. Checking myself here. 4 1/4 by 10, I do believe. No, this one's the 11. 4 1/4 by 11. Okay, so 4 1/4 tall by 11. I'm using the denim for this. And I'm going to put this in my scoreboard landscape. So the 11's at the top. And I'm going to score at 5 1/2 and 8 3/4. Two simple scores: 5 1/2, 8 3/4. We're going to flip this around and carefully burnish. Try not to crack your paper. Carefully burnish this side. And then we're going to fold down on this side, line everything up. Carefully burnish on this side, and see my paper cracked a tiny bit. That's okay. So then I have a scrap of paper that has, I can use this one with the strawberries bursting out, which I kind of like that. And I think it's upside down though. Let me go this way. Yes, it was upside down. So really pretty, and then you can add white to it. And I have the stripe for the front. And then we will have a little strip, like you can see on here, of the blue. And I will put Get Well Soon on there. Super cute. I don't know if Get Well Soon is a good one for using for this type of thing or not. But so that's how you would do that. So here, what you want to do, if you're going to notch this, like I did this one and I messed up, but if you're going to notch this, you first want to do that portion of it, get it notched. And I'm actually going to use a different type of notch this time because I really messed that one up. I don't want to do that again. So I'm just going to use my envelope punch board and use this portion. So this is 4 1/4. So I need to go over to 2 1/8 and punch. And that's going to give me that nice little notch. And we'll have to do that with whatever paper I put on there too. So, and then I'm just going to take, if you're going to cover this whole piece, which I can't remember if that was my plan or not. Let's see. Yes, so we're going to put this piece on first. And this piece is a scrap. Again, they're all scraps. 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. And I dropped it. That will go on this inner piece, the smaller area. This is under where the gift card will be. So if you didn't have a scrap big enough to cover the whole area, you could cover just the top where the pocket closes if you choose. That is an option. Next, you're just going to take glue and run it down. As soon as I clean my glue gun off here. Run it down just the side here. On both sides. Just enough glue to get tacky. And then we're going to fold that closed and burnish. Get rid of any excess glue that's in there too. Then we'll cover this pocket with a piece of paper, which I'm not quite sure which yet. It's probably going to be this lovely piece that I cut. No, that's not 4 1/8. That won't work. I had cut some, I thought. I'm probably, let's see here. Do I like this? Like I said, this is a fly by the seat of my pants kind of thing. I'm going to go ahead and use that side. So the piece that goes in here is going to be 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. I'm just going to go ahead and put that one down. I hate to cover up those beautiful strawberries, but I like this piece better. Line that up as good as I can. All right, and see, this is what you'll have, and then we're going to cover this with this. And I think this is the right width, but we need to cut this to 4 1/8 as a length. So this is also 3 1/8, and it will be 4 1/8 tall. Yes, 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. I think I have to turn this back on. I missed my window of opportunity with the glue gun. It is an auto shut off, so I didn't quite start in time. So this scrap is actually a little bit narrower than 3 1/8, but that's okay. It still looks good. Again, these are scraps, and this is a great way to use them. And just 2 score lines, and you can make gift card holders for all of your family members at Christmas time. I mean, super, super simple. So then I need a piece of the blue paper. Digging in my scraps over here. I thought I had already cut one, but as you can see, I'm a little lost on where my papers are going here because I swore I cut it and now I'm not finding it. So I'm going to cut a piece for this in the green so it matches. Yeah. And that piece is going to be, we want 2 1/8 by 4 1/8. So go ahead and grab a cutter, cut this 2 1/8, and oh, it's already 4 1/8. But look at that. Didn't have to do nothing. And then we are going to put this in the envelope punch board, just like we did the card itself. And this one is 4 1/8, so you're going to have to go under that 2 1/8. I would suggest going just past the 2. And it should fit just fine. And it does. Okay. So we'll go ahead and glue. Do we like the yellow? I think I like the yellow better, because then I can put a sticker on there or something. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. I'm always loving finding new and interesting and innovative ways to use up my scraps because I hate to throw away beautiful paper. I mean, obviously if a scrap is so small like this, you can't really use it, but for the most part, most of my scraps, when I even have little bits like this left, they go in a manila envelope, they're marked, and they go in my closet in a cube shelf so that I can find them again. So now I'm going to go and do a little bit more burnishing so this lays down a little nicer. Train my paper to kind of lay down a little bit. And then we will add our little piece on the front. And I am not seeing enough blue here, so I think I'm just going to use, I don't see any scraps of the denim that I thought I had laid out, but I'm not seeing any. I have, oh, here's some. Okay, so I just need to cut a 3 1/8 by 1 inch. So let me just do that really quick. I'll grab an inch. I had quite a bit of paper left over from this blue. I bought more than I needed, I think. All right, so there's my inch. And I need a 3 1/8. Is it 3 1/8? No, 3 1/4. I'm sorry. 3 1/4. Hopefully I said that right. Yes, that's right. Okay. So then we have our little blue strip. 3 1/4 by 1 inch. And that's just going to go over in the middle somewhere of this portion. And if it is a little too long, which for some reason mine looks like it is, line it up really well with this side. And then just go in and trim this with your scissors. I had to do that with the other one too. I think it has something to do with the scoring. You just have to do it carefully, like I just cut my paper. But that's okay. We are going to put blue, white paper over the top of it anyways, so it's all right. Okay. And this is where you would put your sentiment piece is on here. And I have this one that did not take very well to being stamped, but that's where I would put that, is on there. And then you can add, like I said, any of those fun little ephemera bits that you have left over. You could do some of the butterflies would be cute on this one. So many different fun things that you can do with that. You could actually use one of these if you wanted to, rather than a stamp. But again, I will finish this one up and show you in a picture. So the last one that I have is the fun little pop-up one. And we're going to do it in blue so I can show you from start to finish. And that was this one here with the little pop-up in the middle. Actually, we're going to do this before this dies again. Oops. I did it again. All right, next time I see that light turn blue, I'm going to show you how to put that on and how to stuff that bag. So here we have our paper that is 10 inches by 4 1/4. Okay. For the 4 1/4 by 10, you're just going to do 4 simple scores. 3, 4, 5, and 8. Again, 3, 4, 5, and 8. Okay. Now, these set of 2 score lines, 3 score lines here, the middle one needs to go up. And you want to get this all nice and lined up and burnished. And then do the same thing with the others. Get those burnished the opposite direction. Make sure that it's lining up when you're doing your burnishing, because you will see all of this on the outside. And then this one, see, I'm a little crooked. Can't have crooked. If it's crooked, it will not close properly. So take this down, and I'm going to burnish this better. Just have to make sure everything is lining up so that this top panel can close over the rest and burnish it as well. Okay, so this is what you will have. Super simple. Now here, you're just going to take glue or score tape, either one, into those 2 1-inch spaces right there that were scored. Super simple. And I put a tiny bit just at the edge too, just because when I did the first one, I felt like there was a crack where the card could just slip out. You're gonna have a belly band on here, but I still preferred it with that little bit of on there, a little bit of glue. So now I'm just simply gonna press this all down and give it a really good burnish. So all that glue settles in there. And then when you open it, you see you have this. Okay. Now I want to round the corners, top and bottom. Let me use my handy dandy Wera Memory Keepers corner rounder here and just go all the way around these 4 outside corners. I am done with my scoreboard for now. Now what I need is my die cutter, which I have a Sizzix Big Shot. Oh, we have glue. Let's do this really quick. So this is super simple. For your little bow, I just tied a bow. I used a couple circles that I cut from packaging and put one of the little buttons from the ephemera, and I tied my little bow. And I'm just going to take my glue gun and I'm going to put some glue on here. So I have my little dab of glue on there, and I am just going to put this right on my bag, like so, right in the middle there. You can put it down further, however you want. And now you have that. And then I just cut some tissue paper from a larger piece, and I folded it in half, so this is a pretty big piece, and just kind of bunched it up. And obviously you would have your gift card inside of here first. And I am going to take my bone folder and just kind of stick it in there, and then I can pull out as I please. And there you have the fun little bag. Super simple. I'll probably put that tissue paper in there a lot nicer than that though. All right, I'm going to turn my glue gun off, set that off to the side, and now I'm going to pull out my Big Shot. This is our gift card holder, and I'm going to use, this is the file die. This is what I used for this one from Graphic 45. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this down so that you have just this flat piece showing. And I am going to place this in the middle of this. As close to the middle. Do it as evenly as possible. I'm going to push this out a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. And once you get it right where you want it, Just, and like I said, if you're a perfectionist, you can measure, and you can use any die that has, if you don't want to use a die, you can also use a punch. So let's see here, I have, yep, that's about correct. So I'm going to do that. And you can also put a little piece of score tape on it if you don't trust that it's going to stay sturdy. I usually just eyeball mine and then set it in here, but for some reason today, it doesn't want to work. So I am going to grab a little piece of tape. Oh, and there's my roll of twine I couldn't find earlier. Aha, and here we go. Let's grab some of this. You can, like I said, you can use any die. You just have to make sure you're only cutting in that 1-inch space, and you got to leave part of it at the bottom for the card to stick out of. So you don't want this too far down. You're just doing this basically to get that pretty look, but you got to cut it off enough so that it leaves that indent there. So see, I have a little bit coming off, but not a whole lot. Then I'm just going to set this in here, and I am going to run this bad boy through. And I'll hear it click. Gotta love that noise. And I am going to put this away, out of my desk, out of my way. And I'm going to pull this off. Get rid of my tape, put away. And that, like I said, is the file die. But if you don't have that, there's the We Are Memory Keep, or excuse me, Heartfelt Creation tag and pocket dies. That has a good size one that has a scalloped edge that would work. Any of those types of dies will work. So when you see now, when this is opened, you can fit something and it's still pretty. And that's why I liked using that kind of scalloped edge die. And then we just decorate our front and back, and we will make a belly band that fits over it, like so. So then, I got glue stuck to me everywhere. So for the decorating, and I'm going to use this on my belly band, I've already cut some pieces here. Yes, so you will have two that measure 4 1/8 by 1 7/8, and that's going to be what goes on your flaps, the top and the underside flap. And burnish this a little bit better. I'm going to go ahead and, oh, I kind of like that actually. See, your scraps play tricks on you. Sometimes you'll cut them and then you see that the other side you actually like it better, which I do this one. It cut from one of the other pages, and I just think that's cute, so I'm going to put it on there. Oh, I'm going to eyeball this as good as I can. All right. Yeah, that's cute. I like that with that little pop of that showing. Super cute. And then we're going to have our inside pieces. Yes, that's it. These are going to be, this one is going to be 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. Get that done, and make sure you don't go over your score lines, because this needs to be able to move. Okay. And like I said, you can put any sentiment you want in here. I have not decided what I'm going to put. I'm just showing you the basics and how to decorate. And you can decorate this little blue flap, but I don't intend to. So that is up to you. And then my other one I cut from this butterfly. I need to snip my corners on the bottom. And that again, 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. I got that one way too far over. Way too far over. I'm feeling like I didn't cut that one right. Yeah. Not sure what happened there. It's not laying down very nicely, though. I don't know. I will fix it. Yikes. Okay. Well, let me just tell you that I think this piece should actually be 2 3/4 is why by that 4 1/8. It's a little bit tight in there. This one that I cut, so I'm not quite sure. So you can leave this blue, or you can do another piece like so. For this one, I'm just going to leave it for now. But we do need to put something on this pocket here. And I'm using this piece. And again, it's a little off. I think I might have, when I put my piece together, it might have actually, this ended up folding differently is why it's not, yeah, see, it's a little off. And that happens. But let's see if this one's going to fit nicely or not. I need to kind of fix that because it's kind of wonky. I don't like wonky. All right, so this one again, we have that 4 1/8 and 2 7/8. And when this is closed, do I still like that? That's a lot of stuff going on there. I think we'll go with something else. I'm not sure if I like that or not now. I think that was why I originally had the other one on the top here. I'm going to cut this piece down. So we'll have it at 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. I think it's already 4 1/8. It is. Okay. Yeah, I like this piece much better for that. We're going to cut our corners, and I will glue this down. Another reason I wanted to do this more like a live, because things change when you're using scraps. And like that. I mean, I liked that until I put it on there, and then I didn't like it so much, and now it's great. Now you can decorate the back as well. I am not going to. And I need a strip of the blue, which I have here. I'm going to cut this down. Let's see, the white one I did. What you want to do is simply just wrap your paper, once you have it decorated, around, and then simply snip it so that you have a little bit of overhang, but not too much. And then you can straighten it all out once you do that. And because this is a scrap as well, but I'm going to make it much narrower. I don't need it to be this wide. So I want this to be 1 1/2. Not 2 that it is. You can make it skinnier, you can make it wider, whatever you like. And that is going to be my belly band. So I want to make sure that's on straight and that it moves and it'll come off and back on. And it's a little tight, so I'm going to loosen that up a bit. All right, now I'm going to straighten this all out because I don't want it all wonky. Then I'm going to glue it. So I can see my finger is right there. That's where the paper ends. Go ahead and glue that down. Finish it out. And then just kind of open it up and play with it while it's drying. Let it dry, of course. And I'm going to slide it on, make sure it still fits, and it does. And then you just want to decorate your belly band. So I had planned to take this adorable little bee 2x2 and put it on there. And that's simply adorable. If you wanted it even more elaborate, you could go with some more stripes. There's a lot of patterns going on this one that I might not normally do, but some people like that. And I can do that. I have a couple other 2x2s I might play with on that. So this is several ways to bash your scraps. I hope that this helps you get through your scraps. Also, I do have stickers left over, and so I will be using some of those on these as well. And when I show the finished ones, you will see where I put those stickers. Just use, you know, every scrap you have if you can. I mean, I literally only had a couple half sheets of 12x12 and some scraps left, and I made all of this, and I still have a little bit more. I probably will make a couple more of these bags, a couple more of these gift card holders. Just super cute. So, you know, we have the bags, adorable, this fun little one, which was this with the gift card, and we also have this fun gift card holder, and this one, which I will finish decorating, our fun flip up scrap card, and our fun flip to the side bifold scrap cards. And this one you can put something in. Super, super cute. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Have a wonderful, wonderful day and have fun getting through those scraps. Thanks for watching.